Welcome back to Foxborough Rush. All right, Case, so we talked plenty about playoff picture. The reason we have the Steelers getting the playoffs is because of Aaron Rodgers. Well, you do, I don't. But it could still happen. I wouldn't be shocked. I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm just saying.
I was like, let's not oversell it just in case. But then again, I'm that person obnoxious enough that, like, if it does happen,
yes.
I'll be walking in
Take
the
your
office
victory
like,
lap.
George!
That's fine.
Yeah.
That is fine. 100%. Do that because I would do the same. Well, if he does, it would be a cool way for Aaron Rodgers to go out because he shared on the Pat McAfee show, as you see the tweet on your screen from Adam Schefter, Steelers quarterback Aaron Rodgers told the Pat McAfee show that he's, quote, pretty sure this is it, end quote, the last season of his NFL career. Rodgers said it is why he signed a one-year deal in Pittsburgh. Multiple layers to this. We'll get to it all. Pretty sure this is it. That is the most Aaron Rodgers retirement announcement
Literally.
Aaron Rodgers could do because it's all about him and it's all about attention. Also, that's why he signed a one-year deal with Pittsburgh. The Steelers probably offered a one-year deal at best because you are banged up. You ran the Jets into the ground. You got a coach fired again, just like you almost ran the Packers into the ground and didn't almost get a coach fired. The Packers are committed to Matt LaFleur.
Thankfully.
But just run your way out of Green Bay, run your way out of New York, and that was an utter failure, even when he was healthy and playing with Devontae Adams. Steelers gave you a one-year deal because you have to prove you are worth a quarterback worth committing to. This is Aaron Rodgers.
Yep.
Wants to sound like the smartest guy in the room, wants to sound like he knows everything, wants to always sound like he's in control. That's fine. People do want to come off that way. That's fine. Everyone would like to. The pretty sure it's my last season. Most Rodgers thing, because also every time he goes on McAfee, every week during the season, whether he's throwing 3 touchdowns, whether he's throwing 3 interceptions, there's going to be a question. So you make a decision. He said, pretty sure. Are you going to retire or not? Hey, man, you're looking good. I think you should play another season. And he'll do something. They'll overreact. They'll party. They'll go crazy. And it's the Rodgers cycle. It's
Broadway. It's theater.
Yeah.
It is theatrics.
Whatever the
best.
theater is in Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
It's like an old mining shaft that they do Broadway shows.
Aaron Rodgers. Yeah, because at the end of the day, you said it. He always wants to sound and look like he is in control. But more importantly, he is the guy that walks into the room and thinks that he's already got the mental move over everybody around him.
Yeah.
Because there's so many hypocritical and contradictory statements that he says on Pat McAfee. I mean, why he continues to go back on and know that he's going to say the opposite of what he just said the week before is confusing. But again, theatrics. So it's not. I mean, would I be surprised if he retires? No. And what I actually think would be leading to his retirement isn't the fact that he's ready to hang it up. He feels like he's done his best. None of the above. It's the fact that everything that translated out of the Jets situation, it's more than calling him a cancer. It's the fact that franchises are concerned about how he's going to impact the club and the fact that he wants to come in with a voice. I mean, look at the shuffle that went around in terms of, like, where was he going to end up next? It wasn't because he had these endless options to choose from or teams really bargaining for him. It was like, we wouldn't mind it, and, oh, we could do it too. There was 2 teams potentially in the hunt to pick up Aaron Rodgers, and at the end of the day, I feel like he had to sell himself more to the Steelers, and the Steelers had to sell their positioning to him.
100%.
It's just always a mind game with the guy.
I'm still shocked they went with him, but it's at the point of they've been so middling. They haven't been able to get anything done with the quarterback position that you do take a gamble on him because it's also a way of, like any gamble, there's a ceiling, there's a floor. There's if it works out or it doesn't. If it works out with him and he's good, then it is his defense led by TJ Watt. It is his wide receiving room that you just added DK Metcalf to. You gave up a second-round pick for. It's all of that working out. And it's getting into the postseason and also winning postseason games. Like, that hasn't happened for quite some time with the Pittsburgh Steelers. And then being good. They've been caught in quarterback purgatory. It was Ben Roethlisberger was great, got washed up. They were stuck with the contract. Then it was Kenny Pickett. It was Mason Rudolph. It was Russell Wilson. It's what we saw last season. They've been stuck. If this works out, great. You make a playoff run. You get relevant again. And maybe there's something in Rodgers where that lights a fire and he comes back for another season. If it doesn't, great. You bottom out, you get a high draft pick, and then you get a quarterback. Maybe Mike Tomlin gets fired, which wouldn't be the worst thing for him because he's been there so long, but it's at the point of, like, okay, you can keep going 9-8. Yeah, and I think it would be best thing for him again. With Rodgers, it's just what I saw with him in New York. He's old. He aged quick. Like, everyone always goes, in football, you can play longer.
You think it was aging versus coming back from that injury?
It was both. And like that leads into the aging, coming back from the Achilles. But he can't move the way he usually does. That offensive line for the Jets wasn't doing him any favors.
Right.
But the offensive line for the Steelers isn't anything fantastic either.
True.
The receiving room is a step worse than it is with the Jets as well. he's at the age, he's still very talented when he's healthy, when he's on time with his plays and his throws, like everything's going well. There's just so much that has to go right compared to the Aaron Rodgers that we grew up watching.
Yeah.
Freelancing, moving the pocket, getting outside the pocket, throwing on the run, buying time, and somehow completing Hail Mary after Hail Mary. Never made sense. That's not the same guy. Still talented, still has arm strength, still super accurate, but he needs a lot more support. I don't think the Steelers team has it. I think he does retire after the season. I think he loves keeping to do this stuff. He'll maybe go the Brett Favre route too, make it really murky of a retirement. And shoot, maybe comes back after. I don't buy anything he's selling it. That's really what it is for me.
See, I do agree with the murky retirement. That's why I'm kind of on the fence whether or not he's really going to retire, or is he going to be jumping through a few other teams first before he's like, well, you know, I'm finally done with it, and like I didn't quit on the game quit on me kind of crap. But again, not a fan of the theatrics, don't care for the drama. I do feel like to a degree the injury played into a lot of, again, the uncharacteristic things that we saw out of Aaron Rodgers, because some of the decent moments that the Jets had, the excitement was there. Like, holy crap, this is Aaron Rodgers doing what we expect Aaron Rodgers to do. Does he have the same pieces over at the Steelers? Not exactly, but something that DK Metcalf had to work on was kind of like the revitalization, the revamping of a quarterback in Geno Smith. He kind of had to have that tandem with him to help him bring his career back to par. And I feel like if this is a big if some of the divitude can be pushed aside for Aaron Rodgers, and if he wants to put himself in a position to control the narrative a little bit more, then he's going to find a way to be in sync with a guy like that and make certain plays happen and not be as hesitant or not take as many sacks. And he's definitely going to come into this season like, I got to cut down on those interceptions because that's never been my game. So I feel like there's a degree of like, you got to, I mean, he's arrogant and confident for a reason. He's going to try to lean back on some of that, and you have to separate it between what the injury hindered him from and like what he mentally hindered himself from.
Okay, I like that. Okay, so when Ovi was going and breaking records, and after he broke the all-time goals record, right, we spoke about, is this his last season? I go, I think it would be. He's played so long, there's nothing left to accomplish, including winning, right?
Yeah.
If Aaron Rodgers wins a Super Bowl, is that one a note? If he wins Super Bowl with the Steelers this year, is that what he goes out on? Or do you think for him, he comes back and he gets paid and he goes, all right, I can do it again. I can get three.
Nah,
three
he flies into the sun. If he wins the Super Bowl,
if he wins Super Bowl, you think that's it for him?
Yeah, he takes flight. He's out. Again, it's all about controlling the narrative. And what's one of the biggest narratives around Aaron Rodgers?
He doesn't win in the big games.
What's the other narrative around Aaron Rodgers? It's the fact that he's always trying to put on this, I don't care what anybody thinks, but he always wants to have the most polished look in the game. You know what I mean? Like, that's also a conversation that takes place, again, not diving too much into the drama, but like with his family and stuff. They just talk about the fact that like, this is somebody that struggles to look imperfect to the public eye, and that's why he pretends like either he doesn't care or he actually is perfect and everybody else is just slow to realize. So you win a Super Bowl, that's perfection. He's out.
He would totally retire.
Totally.
It'd be perfect. He goes out, maybe he goes into like a media blackout too. Only appearing on McAfee from his like retirement, like
from a
abode.
Tent.
Yes, exactly.
I see a tent, not a boat. I see him, a tent, very little light. Yeah, we don't know.
We'll find a way to have Wi-Fi though to appear on McAfee.
Exactly.
If he wins the Super Bowl, I think he rides out like a Peyton Manning, like we've seen a John Elway do. I focus more on the Peyton Manning, where Peyton made to a Super Bowl with the Broncos and lost to the Seahawks, and he was fantastic that year. When he got back and they won it, he was not Peyton Manning by any means. It was that defense that won it for them. The body can only handle so much football, only has so much left. If he wins the Super Bowl, I think he retires. Even if they make a deep playoff.
What if he loses? Oh, okay. I was going to change the narrative.
No, it's a great question to ask. Because again, even if he gets there and he gets close and comes up short, I really do think no matter what for him, I do think this is it. Unless, got to go caveat and give myself an out here. Unless the Steelers somehow come back and go, here's a 2-year deal. Here's a lot of money. We'll keep paying you. Yeah. Because as much, again, as the guy acts like he doesn't care what anyone thinks, and he tries to be so laissez-faire about everything, like the money matters to him.
Oh, yeah.
And I get it too when you're playing a brutal game. Like, get paid and keep getting paid as long as people pay you handsomely.
Right.
But that's what matters to him. And again, it's what started this convo. This is why I signed a 1-year deal with the Steelers, because I wasn't sure if I'm going to play past this year. No, you wanted to go to the Vikings.
Right. And they rejected you.
Wisely so. They went with J.J. McCarthy. You got a 1-year deal because the Steelers don't trust you past the season.
Yep.
And that's a right move for them.
Exactly. I think all of this is just retaliation to rejection. Like, he just has that air about him. Like, who's going to reject me? And when it happens is when we see all of this theatrics that just kind of has become Aaron Rodgers. But I couldn't agree more. If by some miracle he does enough with the Steelers, they do make the postseason. I think if they make the postseason and the Steelers are like, okay, look, we need to take a breather on this whole quarterback carousel that we've had going on over here. Let's offer him 2 years. Let's have a little bit of a contingency plan in there.
Have an out in year 2.
Exactly. They are not breaking up.
That'd be interesting.
Wouldn't it?
It should be signing up for multiple years of Aaron Rodgers. The one thing we get in all this, if this is his last season, Steelers host the Patriots week 3. It's Aaron Rodgers against Drake May. It's a Patriots against the Steelers, 2 franchises that are so cool that every time they match up, whether postseason or regular season, at least we get that.
Yeah,
at least
that's true.
I believe he'll be healthy at that point, and at least we get a Drake May, Aaron Rodgers matchup. Mike Vrabel against Mike Tomlin. That should be a good game.
I love that. But imagine if it's our defense that retires Aaron Rodgers. Like, I just talked about him cleaning up interceptions and all these other things.
Yeah.
But if it's the Patriots, I mean, what is it, September 21st? If it's the Patriots that can really get under his skin, that gives us a highlight outside of him controlling what he tries to control. Like, that's what I would love to see.
I like this note that our producer Trevor added at the end. Does the NFL even do retirement tours? It would be a bittersweet one with Aaron Rodgers. And when I think of retirement tours, I think of Mariano Rivera and David Ortiz.
Okay.
And there's Derek Jeters too, but mainly Rivera and Ortiz. Like, when Ortiz is playing his last series in the Bronx at Yankee Stadium, they're giving him something in his honor. When Mariano Rivera is playing at Fenway, he got the broken bats thrown, like built out of bats that he's broken with his slider.
I love that.
For Rodgers, and he does have his old division on his schedule, but like, what will the reception be? Because this is a guy that has rubbed so many franchises the wrong way, has run so many franchises into the ground, is respected around the league and a beloved teammate, but it'll be weird because at that point, it's him with the Steelers. And again, with this, pretty sure it's it. You don't get the tour if you're pretty sure. If you announce it, you stick by it, and it's actually your last season.
That's where I was going. I was like, he needs to be completely on board with what his next chapter looks like, sounds like, make the announcement, and then sure. Maybe a little bit of a revenge tour. But if we're still doing this give and take about like, oh, I'm just deciding as I go and I'm going to go meditate on it in the forest and I'll get back to everybody knowing darn well the decision has been made, then no. And plus, I mean, he's how many years removed from the whole Green Bay situation? I didn't even love his exit there. So like you said, I mean, the beloved look to him has died down pretty severely in my book.
What is interesting, I need to check it really quick, but the Steelers do play the Packers. I forget if it's home or away. They're home against Green Bay, they're at Detroit, and they're home against the Vikings. If he was to get like that retirement ceremony goodbye tour, the one in Green Bay, his final game in Lambeau Field, that would have been electric. With all the schedule making the NFL does, they should have put that game, especially October game in Green Bay. That would have been perfect.
I think they're leaning
Packers.
away from a retirement tour if possible or discussed.
The Packers as a franchise are really happy they don't have to even think about that.
They got Jordan Love and all of the fun going on.
I'm a big Jordan Love fan. I'm all for that. They don't have to even do the awkwardness of honoring an Aaron Rodgers.
Yep.
He's pretty sure he's going to retire.